Hey, this is John from Stub Group. We are a digital advertising agency and a premier Google partner, and we help businesses dominate Google Ads and make money online. And today I'm going to give you a bit of a review of a new AI-powered feature that DataFeedWatch has released. So if you don't know what DataFeedWatch is, they are a data feed management platform. This is specifically for e-commerce websites who need to send product information to places like Google Merchant Center for Google Shopping or PMax campaigns, to Microsoft for Microsoft Shopping campaigns, to Facebook for Facebook campaigns, etc. Anytime you need to send a data feed from your website to a platform, DataFeedWatch can kind of come into the middle, and you can customize your feed and optimize it and make it fit the best practices and the requirements that each individual channel like Google Shopping requires. So here at Stub Group, we're big fans of DataFeedWatch. We've used them for many of our clients for many years at this point. And we were very excited to be asked by DataFeedWatch to do a bit of a review of their new AI features. So I'm going to walk you through what they've released and how to use them, and some general thoughts about what we're seeing with them. So first of all, what are these AI features and what can you do with them? So there are 4 specific categories of information that you can use DataFeedWatch's new AI features with. And they are the titles of your products, the descriptions of your products, the sizes of your products, and the colors of your products. So title, description, size, and color. And I'll show you just kind of how it works, how it operates here, and we'll just use a test account for purposes of this review. So let's start with talking about title and description. A couple of caveats: these features are only available right now in English language feeds. They will be rolling out support to other languages as well in the coming months. Maybe by the time you see this video, if it's down the road, they'll already have that. But as of the recording this video, English is the only language that is supported. And the channels that they support are Google Shopping and Facebook. So those 2 channels. And then over time, they're going to roll out support to additional channels as well. So let's look at a Google Shopping channel example. So I'm going to pull up a test feed here, and we'll go ahead and edit it and play around and show you what it looks like to use the title and description fields with AI. So you'll see here, title as well as description, they have these options already selected, optimized with AI. Now you don't have to use AI. You can still build things the normal way. You can still build things manually, but obviously we're going to play around with AI right now. So when we select optimize with AI, they give you some information about it, link to read more information, etc. And we're just going to leave that option selected, and we're going to go preview and see what this looks like. So we're going to generate the preview here, and they're going to show us what the current title is that's just kind of in the feed to begin with, and then what the output of that title would be once the AI has worked on it. So you can see here we have a kind of very bland, not super descriptive title, flat dual matte link connector. That's what is kind of coming in. I think this account's using Shopify, so that's what's coming over from Shopify into DataFeedWatch. And then this is the AI output. So what the AI has done is it's added automatically a brand name, it looks like, and information about the size of the product. So how long it is, how wide it is, how high it is. And we can scroll down and see other examples as well. So for example, right here, it says metal dual matte plate connector. That was the original title. What AI has done is, again, they've added the brand, and then they've also added galvanized coating for portable roadway or platform. So they've given kind of an example use case. Now, how is AI doing this? How is it coming up with this information? Well, it's looking at all of the other fields that are in the feed. So when you've got stuff coming over from your platform into DataFeedWatch, you've got, often, hopefully, you have size, you have color, you have descriptions for each product that have lots of keywords and information in there. And so the AI is looking at all those different data points and doing automatically what you would have to do manually, which is combining those things into one place and creating a title for the product that meets best practices for this channel and that makes sense. And you can see from these examples here, this is a much better, much more descriptive, has more keywords title than this core title over here. Now, you could create this title yourself manually. But the idea behind the AI is simply saving a tremendous amount of time. And this really, I mean, this is awesome when you're talking about having a feed with lots of products. If you have thousands of products, tens of thousands of products, it's not scalable to go through every single one of those, at least not in a reasonable time frame, and tweak them and write custom titles for all of them. So historically, what you do is you try and mix and match fields and do mapping within DataFeedWatch or a tool like this to, say, okay, I always want the brand name to come first, and then I want the core title, and then I want the size or whatever. And what the AI is doing is automatically doing a ton of that work for you, and probably coming up with better outputs in some cases than when you were just manually mapping fields together. So if we go through more of these examples, a couple things to keep in mind. The AI, at least the way that DataFeedWatch describes it, is it's not making up new information. So it's not like ChatGPT where it's coming up with new words that don't exist. It is looking at your source information. Because obviously you don't want it to hallucinate about your product and say, oh, I'm selling an umbrella, and it's actually called, cat litter or something. So they're trying as much as possible to minimize that hallucination and really look at the tool as not coming up with new information that doesn't already exist, but as in a more efficient way, grabbing the information that's already in your feed and putting it into the right place in a quick manner. And just looking at these examples, it looks pretty good. I mean, this is a much more built out title than this title, and it would take quite a bit of manual work to come up with this title and kind of mix and match things and pull things out of the description for that product and so on. So that is how the title works. Now, DataFeedWatch always recommends check the outputs. AI is not perfect, so there is possibility of mistakes and errors, just like there is when you do things manually. So definitely take a look at the output and use a preview tool like this, or you can also go into the product settings after you do this mapping, and you can get a list and compare the previous input values versus the output values and make sure that things make sense and look right. Then for description, we've got a similar use case. So you can preview description, and it will show us the current descriptions and then the new descriptions. A couple other things the AI does is it looks for issues in grammar, in typos, in formatting, in capitalization, and tries to fix those. So really just cleaning up the data, making it more presentable, making it more professional if there are issues in the source data that it identifies. I do see it takes a little bit of time to generate here for the AI to do its thing. Okay, so now it's loaded, and look at this. So this is the initial description that's coming over from Shopify. You can see it's got a bunch of junk kind of code over like the styles and fonts and things, which we don't really want to send over to Google Shopping or Facebook or anywhere. And the AI cleans all that up. So this is the new description here with all of that stuff cleaned up. The capitalization looks pretty good. Just looking through here, it looks a lot cleaner. So again, it's not really coming up with new information because you don't want it to make up information about your product that's not true, but it's cleaning things up and just making it easier to read and just better quality data to send to Google. So for title and description, that's how that works. Now the other two fields are a little bit different, and they are size and color. So there's kind of a two-step process. First step is we need to make sure that we're using what they call internal fields for color and size. So I'm going to go back out of this test channel, and we're going to go back to the shop level. And from the shop level in DataFeedWatch, you'll see internal fields as an option. So if we go to internal fields, this is where you are taking data from the input feed, which in this case is Shopify. It's coming into DataFeedWatch, and you are saying, okay, the field that's called variant ID, for example, coming over from Shopify, we're always going to call that ID, and then whatever channel we build out within DataFeedWatch, whether that be Google Shopping or Microsoft or Facebook, etc., whenever we say ID, we know it means variant ID. So it saves time. That means we don't have to do extra mapping each time we build out a new channel. So in order to use the size and color side of things, we need to first add internal fields for those. So we can go to add internal field, go to recommended field, let's go with size first, add size, and then we're going to select the name of the size field that Shopify is sending over, which in this case we'll select size option. Let's try that. And then you can see our AI found 142 missing values for the selected field. So in other words, there's a bunch of products where there is no information in that size option field. And then when we go back to the channel after doing this, the AI is going to try and fill that out. And I'll show you how that works. And then we're going to do the exact same thing for color. And you can see, yep, found 137 missing values for color. So we're going to go ahead and save those changes. And then we're going to go back to the channel that we were working on and look and see how the AI tries and fills in those gaps in the data. So let's go back to channel, and then we are going to add fields for color and size. So let's grab color, boom, and let's add size as well. All right, so for color, and you can see now we have these options, new fill in your missing colors with AI. So I'm just gonna click on that. And that opens up a help article that kind of walks you through and explains how it works. But over here, if I go to rename, keep it set as rename, and I go to select field, now you see there's these options here. It says color AI filled, size AI filled. So let's choose color AI filled, and then preview. And what it's doing is the AI is trying to figure out other places in your data where you've mentioned the color for the product. So it's going to look at the description, the title, things like that, and say, even though you haven't actually physically entered the color of the product in Shopify into that field, it's going to try and infer what that color is based upon other data and then enter that color. So let's see here. Now this is a good example of where AI can only go so far. So it is saying, hey, the initial field is empty. It's also saying the output field is empty. So it's not actually finding any color information to be able to add. And so this is, I'm glad this example came up because this is something to be aware of. The AI can only go so far. It's not going to make up and say this product is red. It's only going to be able to get that information if there's other information in the title, in the description, and the source data coming over that it can infer from. In this case, there isn't, and so it's not finding that information. Just another example of why it's important to enter data into the source field, the source feed, I should say, that you send into DataFeedWatch. So this is not going to help us. We're still going to have to do manual work here for this particular example. Let's try it for size and see here. I think for size we may see a different, a better outcome because I know that there are sizes in some of the product information. So let's try this, do preview, and see what happens. All right, so here it looks like what it's doing is some of the products already do have a size information entered, and it looks like it is it's taking that exact information. So I don't actually see much of a change here on the size side of things. It looks like when there is a size, it's just keeping the same size. When there's not a size, it's not finding a size to add. So honestly, for this particular store, this particular example, the color and size options aren't super helpful. It's not giving us a lot. Title and description were much more helpful because there was more to work with in the source data. So something to keep in mind. For some shops, it's going to be much more helpful than others. It really depends upon the quality of the source data and what options exist. But it's definitely worth exploring and seeing if it can save you time for your particular shop if you are using DataFeedWatch. I also have it on good authority that they are working on trying to infer color from product images as well. They're not there yet, but hopefully at some point down the road, the AI will actually be able to look at the product image and say, well, that's red or that's black, etc., and actually be able to insert that value regardless of whether you've sent a size, or I should say a color value from the input feed. So that's something that I think would be extremely helpful. And that is my review. So I think title and description are definitely by far the most helpful. I've seen really good results from it. Still spot check. It's not going to be perfect 100% of the time, but it can really save you a ton of time, and especially if you have a large number of products in your feed. And then size and color, a little bit more spotty in terms of when it can be valuable, but when it's helpful, it's helpful. So definitely explore it. And if you have any questions about how we're leveraging AI like this with DataFeedWatch or other tools, please leave those in the comments, and we would love to answer those. So thanks for watching. Until next time, this is John.